Again, welcome all. I know we're about 3, 4 minutes in, but I think Swami's words with Guru Poornima, being tomorrow, I just felt that it would nice to hear his words before we begin. And it so happens that we've been having our sessions, monthly sessions, the YA session, my Sai and I, and Swami is talking about Poornima, and today we have a Poornima herself with us. So that is the divine play here as one of the speakers, and I'm sure her stories are going to fill us and fill our hearts with love as well and adoration for our divine Bhagwan. And along with her, we have Satyam Mehta, again a YA who has some beautiful stories to share of how he's experienced his guru as well. So without further ado, I think we'll begin with three ohms. And Sister Purnima, I think it's only befitting that you probably lead us through that, the initial ohms. Sairam.
Om. Om. Om.
Sairam, everyone. I think we'll begin with Brother Satyam because he was actually potentially slated for last week, and then Sister Purnima will be the second speaker for the day. So, Brother Satyam,
Thank
who's
you,
all yours.
Sarah. Saram, everyone, can you hear me? Okay,
Perfect.
perfect. So I'd like to start with praying at the humble lotus feet of our beloved dear Swami. Saram to everyone. So as hopefully, everybody has their own unique spiritual experiences, and ever since I was fortunate enough to be born into the Sai fold from the start. So it begins from my first 5 years of actually, ever since when I was a small kid. I'd never heard of anything else except Rudrams or Gayatri Mantra or bhajans for the first 5 years of my life. And it was a life shocker that anything exclusive of bhajans or anything actually existed in the world. So I'm thankful to my mother and both of my parents and family to bring me up like that. But to fast forward a little bit, I'd like to jump into a small short story about a couple of transformations that brought me, and luckily it allows me to believe that due to those transformations, this is who I am today. So I'd like to begin back in 2005, and um, I'll also share out a slide actually, if that's okay. So can everybody see that slide? Okay.
Yep.
So this was back in exactly 2005. I was about 12 years old, and this was my luckiest opportunity to meet Swami, talk to Swami. So the story actually begins of how at that time I was in Syracuse Sci Center, and we were having some changes in the rules in the center, and you know, a little bit very much similar to what is going on today, day to day. And so our center members, were like, since there's disharmony and within the center, let's try to reach out to Swami, pray to Swami, and he'll hopefully with his divine grace give us some path and guidance to solve some things within our center. So luckily we had a fellow Sai devotee. His name was Ravi the Beer, and today he serves in the super specialty hospital in and he's the director of dental department in that there. So um, he was our center president, and his family and everyone was super close to Swami, where before any smallest change, they would actually reach out to Swami, and um, Swami would approve, then only he would go forth doing anything. So our fellow devotee Ravi uncle, he went to Swami, and Swami immediately said, "Center, not here. Why not here? Call them here." So it was our first time ever, you know. So he said he let all of our center members know that, hey, it's Swami has called all of you, come here as soon as possible, and we booked a flight, and I had always heard and seen Swami's picture, but never actually seen Swami in person. So to me, I was like, okay, we're praying to Swami. He is God, but I always had these as I know it might sound very childish, but as a kid, I always had that thought that if he's God, does he really actually, like a lot of people say, he knows everything, he's omnipresent and everything, but in the back of my head I'm like, no, that can't be. If he's physically in person, how is that possible? If he's actually God, can he, like, tell me everything about my future, and and everything, and what's gonna happen 10 years down the road, or what I've done 5 years before, or something like that. So all those crazy questions were going on. So the first day, Swami invites us to the interview room, and he says, this is where his divine Leela comes into play, his Krishna Leela, actually, because with a playful smile, he's like, "How is everything going? What do you guys do?" You know, Swami, we go to Sai Center every weekend. We do bhajans, we do some prayers. Oh, nice. Service also? Yes, we do service. Uh, you know, and suddenly he went from that playful mode into asking every individual person, how they're doing, how, somebody's going through a marriage, somebody's going through uh, family troubles or anything, and each and every single person he reached out to and asks, and it's like he's constantly listening to every single center member, and then he's like, so where is this place? Swami Sai Center in Syracuse. And then he stops everybody. He's like, center? Uh, and then we correct Swami a couple of times. Somebody corrects Swami a couple of times. Again, after a couple of times, everybody just paused. He's like, not center, temple. And we're all just shocked. We're like, okay, if Swami says it's a temple, it's a temple. So we're just waiting for what he says next. He's like, temple, because I am always there. I am always listening. I know what is going on. And the first thing he says is, do anything to maintain unity within the center, and it shall be called the temple. And that's what was very eye-opening. And to go actually a few steps back, so before I actually crossed, in the Prashanti Nilayam, when you go into the Mandir hall, there's a veranda and everything, and on the right side, Swami used to take people into the interview room. And at first you would think, oh, it's such a small room, how many people can fit? But no, 40 people were in there sitting, cross-legged, and Swami, acting like this very lovable person. He literally asks us, Do you guys need any water? Should I turn on the fan? Coming down to our level, like imagine, like we cannot imagine Swami coming down to our level and asking us, like, being the best host ever possible, and we're all like, no, 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 Swami, we're all good, we're all good. And so coming back, when I made that first step into the veranda, before I crossed the room into the door, I had hundreds and thousands of questions. I was like, and my mom was quizzing me the other day. She's like, what are all the questions you're gonna ask him? And I was like, I'm gonna ask him this, that, everything. As soon as I step one foot into the room, my mind rotates 360 degrees. Actually, sorry, 180 degrees. And that's where I'm like, he is God. He knows everything. I haven't been this a good child. I dare not, ask anything from Swami. Otherwise, he may grill me, for anything that I've done. And this uncle was telling me to sit right in front of Swami. So I was within hand reach of Swami and everything. And every single one of my questions, without even talking to me, he answered every single one of them in the room. So, like, especially him saying about his omnipresence, right? He's like, I am there. I know what's happening. Maintain unity and everything will pass. And then not only that, he actually materialized a couple of things. He materialized a green lingam about this big. And this is where one of my questions were answered immediately. I was like, if he is God, I want him to, materialize something. Not only did he do it once, he did it 4 or 5 times. And to show me to prove to me that, it's not magic or anything happening, he literally pulled back his sleeve. He pulled back his arm sleeve. And I'm sitting right in front of Swami. So and laws of physics cannot comprehend, no science can comprehend. Even till this day, there's no logic that can be applied of what happened. So he shows me his hand without, saying to me, like, look, you're looking at the divine Leela occurring right in front of your eyes. So he closes his hand. He goes like this. As soon as he turns, there's a lingam bigger than the size of his hand formed right in front of my eyes. And that too, not just a lingam, with a small lotus petal on top of the Shiva lingam. A unique pink and white lotus on top. And not only that, he instructed us specifically, do Abhishekam every weekend. It will prevent and cure any disease. So, and he gave us a couple of more things for the center. He was like, do this along with Abhishekam, Lingashtakam, and do it every weekend. First thing, before you do any prayers or before you do any bhajans, do this. And then we had another devotee in that room, and again, this definitely shows Swami's Leela, because the boy comes to him crying. And while he is crying and overjoyed by Swami's love, Swami is also crying, overjoyed by his devotion and his love towards his mother, actually. And he said, this is mother's child. This is my child. And he materialized him a long chain. It was a pretty long chain, and it was about, I would say, at least 1.5 feet long, with Swami's pendant on it. He was like, wear this. This will protect you from everything. And then there were a few more students, who had either finished up undergrad or just starting undergrad. And he literally pointed to each and every single one of them. He was like, doctor, 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 doctor. So it's like, not only was their fate fixed by Swami, but their parents must have been overjoyed. Swami assigned them, what their role in life and everything. But the biggest thing for me was that every single thing that Swami did in that room, which I will continue. And as soon as we stepped out, you know, we all wanted to write up what Swami had specifically said, and we do have a copy of that. Um, and the craziest thing was none of our stories actually matched up. And this is where Swami's Leela came into play, because every single person had their own story about how Swami had talking or spoken to them specifically in that same interview room at the same time we're all sitting there. And only half of our stories matched up. The other half never actually matched up with anybody. Everybody was like, no, Swami spoke to me in Telugu. No, Swami spoke to me in Tamil. No, Swami spoke to me in English. And, you know, and that was one of the biggest things. And then as soon as we left the interview room, Swami was like, no picture? No picture? Why not? Why no picture? Come take. So he took with us on one side uh, all the men, and I got the most beloved opportunity to hold Swami's hand during that picture. And while I was holding his hand, I was overjoyed by the immense amount of love flowing through me during that time, that um, my head is just popping out in the picture. And in one picture, I'm not even there. In the other picture, I'm there. And you can see everybody, you know, Swami's nice, graceful smile. And, you know, and then after that day, 2 days later, again, Swami called us all in the veranda. And this is where that picture comes in. And if we notice over here, we have Dr. Ravi Dabir right here, Swami right here, and Swami's handing out, you know, vibhuti packets. So Swami literally comes up to me and he says, "What great!" So it actually right in front of that uncle was my dad sitting, and we had to rearrange the order because I had a scarf on, but I was too young to sit in the exact front. So that uncle traded spots with me. So my dad didn't realize I wasn't sitting right behind him. So Swami always, you know, looking after children. He's very like gracefully smiling, and you know he looks at my dad, and then he's cautiously looking at me, as you can see in this picture, and you know, he pauses and he says, "So, what's your name?" And at that moment, what went through my head was immenseful, because hearing Swami's sweet voice one on one, you know, out of all the billions in people in the world, having that fortunate one on one conversation with Swami. And this day, I actually had the courage to reply back. So at first I was stunned. So I, you know, replied by saying, huh? But again, you know, Swami being loving, all loving, he asked me again, what grade? So I'm like, Swami, I'm in, you know, fifth grade. And, uh, and he's like, nice, nice. What is your name? And I said, Swami Satyam. And till this day, that's what brought this transformation within me, is the way he mentioned Satyam. It was a questionative way of saying Satyam, as if, you know, it's Swami's name, but are you carrying out the name which you have been given? And that's when I realized, you know, Swami's name truly means truth. And being given the name Satyam means much more than just, you know, uh, just uh, a name tag. So it's about following truth. It's about understanding, having the biggest opportunity of having Swami's name is the biggest test and biggest challenge in my life, because to be able to speak the truth all the time is extremely hard. And that's where that crossover happened in me, where I'd rather always tell the truth, but never lie. I will not tell the entire story, but I'd rather tell the full, like, part of the truth and not say anything extra. But um, and that's where it helped me realize, that was one of the biggest transformations that, Swami, cares for every single person. And he went to the lady side then, and again, proving his omnipresence and knowing all and everything. He went up to this other SSC student and he literally said, "Your name is Shelly, right?" And that just made her day, because she was overjoyed and she went back to school here and she was like, "God knows my name. God knows my name." Like, on a, like, without even mentioning her name or saying anything, feeling that immense joy that, Swami got to talk to you or even know your name without even asking you, that just shows, like, his loving nature and bringing happiness with just a smile or even looking at you or even talking to you. So this was back in 2005. And then I'll fast forward to another transformation where this was back in 2017, actually. So there was this opportunity that, I was going through a little bit of a rough time, and I was going through a stage where I was looking for jobs and everything. And the biggest experience was I had no visa to go to India. I had uh, uh, and 1 month literally prior, I had signed up for the July Parthi Yatra, and again, miracle after miracle after miracle occurred, because 2 days before I'm supposed to leave to Parthi, my parents are asking me, "Son, your visa isn't here. You can't go. Even if you have the motive, you can't go if you don't have a visa. You can't leave the country. You can't go into another country." And literally 1 day before I'm supposed to leave to Perthi, my visa comes within 30 days, which in the history has never happened before. And I told my parents, "Sorry, this is Swami's calling. I have to go now." So I immediately leave the next day. I joined the July Parthi Yatra, and while I'm going to this Parthi Yatra, I kind of make this promise to myself that, if I'm not gonna tell anybody, that I'm looking for a job, but unless if anybody or uncle or auntie, specifically questions me, "Hey, do you have a job? How is everything going? Are you looking for one?" And I'm not gonna let anybody know that, I don't have one or anything. And literally, one after another, I was involved with all the SSC children in the Bharti Yatra, and we were showing around all the Ishrambas, shrines, and kindergartening schools all the way to 12th grade. And we had the fortunate to take all the SSC children and even the YAs to the sports center and to, where Vedam chanting is done every day, seeing where the radio sai is done. And we had the fortunate um, experience to hear the interview live, actually, with Dr. Goldstein. And we got to take pictures with them and everything. But coming back, um, I was also part of the seva in the medical, and this is where, where anybody, regardless of what type of experience they have, as long as they want to serve, they always, full-heartedly accept them and everything. So, and coming back, I was also involved with a music program, and I was there were 2 days left before performing, and it just so happened a couple of our MCs for that program got sick, and this uncle came up to me and he's like, "Would you like to would you like to MC for us?" And I'm like, "Sure, that's the biggest opportunity, and everything." And it just so happened that 2 years before that, um, sorry, not 2 years. Yeah, 2 years before that, I'd done another program. But when it came down to pictures and videos, my head and my face and everything was covered, even though I was sitting in the front row. And after that performance, after I'd seen the pictures, I was like, Swami, I know we shouldn't be worried about, pictures or anything, but I had the best opportunity to sing in front of you, and I just wish, I could have this one group picture sitting in the right in front of the veranda, so that I, I just feel like, that I was there. So it just so happened in the Parthi Yatra, they gave me the lead role of the MC, and here I am, endless nights, trying my best to memorize these lines and everything, and serving and everything. And I had the best opportunity to serve and, spiritually, go through all these lovely emotions of seeing every single person there, and bringing my mind to a peace that, you know, we should be so grateful that, we have a shelter, we have family, we have food every day, to eat. And it just so happened last day before we were supposed to leave after the music program, um, this uncle comes up to me literally out of the blue, and he asked me in specific, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing great, uncle." He's like, "No, no, personally, how are you doing?" "Uncle, I'm doing all right." He's like, "So, are you working?" And again, Swami made sure by the end of this trip, all the three questions were asked and every question was answered. And this uncle literally was like, "Oh, so you're looking for a job? Don't worry, here's my card. Call me back when you get in the US. Everything will be taken care of." And I was like, all I did was do service with him. I don't even know who this uncle is or what's his name or, what company he's in or anything. And he literally just handed me a card and everything. And it just so happened when I came back to US, I called him back. He's like, "You're already in." And I'm like, "Uncle, sorry, no interview process or anything?" He's like, "No, all the Swami's dedication work and everything you did, this is the least I could do." And I was like, "No, uncle, it's all Swami's grace, I just did it for him only." And the best feeling ever was, which I can never imagine, is having every single meeting starting with Saram, everyone, literally. Any meeting, any one-on-one, being able to work in a company like that, I mean, just shows, it doesn't matter where we are, and saying Saram, brings back those memories to me that, Swami is always with us. He's always listening. He's always watching, and he's always omnipresent. As long as we try our best effort and we take that first step forward into, making sure that we can maintain unity and love and service, anything is possible. And with that, I I'm not sure if I have extra time. Do I still have more time, Shiro?
Yeah, you do, man.
Okay. All right. Then I'll continue on to another story regarding Swami. So it also happened during um, another Parthi pilgrimage I had participated, and this was called Sai Gitanjali. Again, this was done in 2015, and um, we were a very very small group, but you know, Swami had this uncle and auntie had gone up to Swami, presented a pamphlet, and presented our group, and Swami said, "Yes, do it. Come back and do it." And so the uncle and auntie came back, organized singers and everything, and our main theme was unity of faiths. So we learned prayers all the way from Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, all the way to all the chants of Mantra Pushpam and everything. And we had the fortunate grace having Ved Narayan teach uh, uh, one of the YAs who taught us. And having that opportunity was just immense because we were able to learn the exact correct chanting, because after our chantings were practiced and recorded, it would go on to Ved Narayan, and then he would correct us individually, and he would give us the specific meaning first of what we're chanting. He's like, there's no point of chanting without knowing the meaning first, because while you're chanting, you should understand what you're saying, what's the meaning, what's the intensity, and with the love in your heart. So we did Garanantwa, we did Mantra Pushpam, we did Bhadram Karnevi, and several other chants, and we had prepared every single one. Then we also prepared bhajans in all of these languages, including Judaism. And we all then finally flew into Parthi. And here's where, again, Swami's Leela comes into play. So, every single day, these two folks who had presented our presentation to Swami, they would come back, and Swami again every day would bless it. So 1 week passed, 1.5 week passed, and then a few more days passed, and it almost started becoming time for all of us to go back. And here, all of us SSE kids and YAs, we are like, no, so it can't be, that Swami has called us here, and blessed the pamphlet. It cannot happen that we're not going to perform in front of Swami. And we all would practice immensely every single day, twice a day, 6 hours a day. And then we were like, okay, if this practice is not enough, we'll start waking up extra early in the morning, gather at 6 in the morning together, just like all Swami students usually, they wake up at 6 or before even. And we were like, okay, we'll get up even earlier, and we'll come inside the darshan hall and continuously do Gayatri mantra until Swami comes in. And we did this every day, twice a day, for hours and hours. And in our hearts, we're like, Swami, if you can hear us, please, make this happen, make this come true. And on 2 days before we were supposed to leave, Swami literally comes by, blesses a card, and says, "Get ready, perform." And this is the same day when two other groups were also supposed to perform. So not only, did our prayers and everything, work out for the better, but we are able to perform half of our, Unity of Faiths program. And then we were also blessed enough to sit right in front of Swami, directly center, when Swami would come with his wheelchair and sit right in front of the veranda, right there. So we had the most loving and experienced time, Swami, sitting there. And not only that, Professor Anil Kumar ji would always come to us, he would give us like a few insights, do some Gayatri Mantra. Swami will listen. Swami always listens to his children. If you do this, Swami will definitely, will figure out some way. And it just so happened that, Swami always listens to his children, regardless of age. And we're all of Swami's children. And as long as, we pray to him, even the smallest of smallest problems, if we pray to him, he is always listening. He is always, has something there for us. And he knows the exact right time for when and where or what should be given. And that's why, that transformation happened in me where, being able to live in the moment and not having to worry about the past or the future, being grateful that we wake up every day in the morning knowing that we have another day, and, Swami has granted us this life to live in today's presence, live in today's world, seeing his form, uttering his name, being able to even know Swami, because there are billions of people on this earth, not having the fortunate uh, being in his presence or even, uttering his name, knowing him, knowing his form or anything. And it really, it just imagining him or just even talking about him brings out that peace within my mind and everybody's mind usually. And that connection really opened my thoughts about, uh, not having to worry what's going to happen day to day, living in the present moment. And with that, I'd like to pass it on back to Shira. And thank you, everyone, and Sam.
Hey, that was beautiful, man, Satyam. Um, there's so many beautiful insights from what makes a center a temple, and to how you truly understanding the deeper import of your name and what you have to and in one sense living up to it, which which you've tried to truly live by, and and also just the fact that you've had the ability to have these doubts and have these doubts cleared by Swami's uh, divine acts. And he's made his presence felt at moments when you've been low, and he's also made his presence felt whenever there's a true yearning. He's always manifested and ensure that it's fulfilled. It's just a joy. I know you have more stories, but again, I want to kind of open up the floor and let others ask questions or share any thoughts.
Sure.
So anyone else who wants to use the mic and ask questions or share your thoughts, feel free to do so.
Hey, Sayaram Satyam, this is Ravi Uncle. I had the pleasure of meeting you in Chitra Auntie's house.
Yes, yes.
It was very, very thoughtful of you, and I think you touched my heart when you started speaking of the unity and the welfare of the group. Although we all know the conundrum we are in, and I think to speak of the universal unity, then seeking the peace for the individual self, is something that touched my heart. And as I was gazing at the picture that you showed, you might be in the center of the picture, but I felt Swami was in the center of your heart speaking through you today. As Sriram also alluded to, is uh, the temple. I think Swami always says, body is the temple of the God, and I think God, I mean. Um, One other thing that touched me was you said to accept that you are not perfect. Remember, you were sitting there uh, wanting to make sure that Swami doesn't grill through all the things that you did. But I'm coming to a point where you say, I have to speak the truth, was something that touched me also. And you went alluded to say there's no science or logic to analyzing what is it, Swami's miracles. And I also feel Swami had very clearly stated, Anil Kumar has stated, stop analyzing, but start experiencing, I think, correct?
Right.
And the two lessons I learned from what you said is do Swami's work and he will take care of you with the job that you got. I think you did the seva and he rewarded with the job. And I think the other one, if I mean, I don't read. Yeah, okay. And the other thing is love is uncertainty. You were all on a cliffhanger wanting when Swami will allow you to perform. I think your intense desire you brought out will help you to succeed. I would say kneel down to him and you can stand up for anything. And
Yeah.
once again, I think your thought was very insightful. And I hope, being Satyam, your words of wanting the unity of one and all come true. And of course, you also talked about prayer. Uh, I would say, and also live in the present. I think the present is the real gift.
Right.
And I want to thank you for having the most important thing in all of this is you still thought for the unity of one and all. And I hope Satyam's words comes true. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ravi Uncle. That was beautiful in itself, in one sense, kind of giving us the nuggets from his entire 45 minutes in one.
Can I just chime in really quick, Sriram? I was so happy to listen. People always wondered when we used to worry that the kids of the future, how will they experience Swami? How will they feel Swami? He's not there physically and all that. But listening to everything, right from childhood, and even now, doesn't matter whether Swami's physical body is there or not. Everybody is having their own experience with Swami, and he's not, letting up just because his physical body is not there. Everybody is being connected, everybody is feeling connected, and there is so much hope for the world of the future. I'm so thankful to listen to this. I was about to miss this, but I was driving. I said, why not listen in?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. It was nice, Satyam.
Thank you.
And Sister Poornima, I think that's the beauty, right? That's the beauty of all of the My Sai and I think series, just seeing how much of love and unique perspective that each of these YAs have, be it whether they've had relatively, I think Satyam's had at least chances to experience Swami in his physical form and have that proximity, but you have also seen others who don't necessarily have it but yet have a great innate understanding of practicing and living his message. It's just beautiful at how all of these YAs I'll fill me with a lot of hope as well as inspiration when I get to interact with them because of the kind of people that they are. And it just comes out during sessions like these. So I certainly want to thank all of them in one sense, because and our region is blessed with many such individuals.
Yeah, agree. Very nice, nicely said, Sriram. Thank you too.
Anybody else?
In 800 feet, you will arrive at your
Yeah, someone was about to say something.
Hey, I was also wanting to, as we were all talking about, I feel Satyam had the awareness of Swami's messages, but the beauty of it is he also accepted his weakness and then made the attempt to change. And that's I call as a AAA, awareness, acceptance, and attempt. And that is the key aspect of it. We need not be perfect, but first accepting the weakness is the awareness to bridge the gap between where you are and putting Swami's messages together. And that's the key thing. I think that was a take-home message for me.
Jayaram, Ravi uncle, you got to repeat that last day of the AAA for me. I haven't digested it yet.
Oh, it means awareness of Swami's messages. Accept your weakness. Like he was telling, I'm Satyam, but I was not sure whether I'm speaking the truth. But then he made an attempt to make sure I will try to speak the truth, because that's the ultimate. And I want to live by this, taking note of the name Satyam, and I want to stand by it. That's what I was thinking of.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, I think Swami in the form of Satyam has spoken, and now given that it's Guru Poornima, Poornima has to truly complete it and make it whole. I think it's about time that we kind of give the floor to her, unless there are any additional comments, thoughts, questions from anyone else. Okay. I think Sister Poornima, the floor is all yours. Jayaram.
Sairam, everyone. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Lord and my dearest companion, Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Many thanks to one and all of you who have gathered here today. I would start with saying, Swami, Nive ma sarvam, Nive ma pranam. When I hear my Sai and I, the first thing that comes into my mind is the bhajan. I keep feeling your love in me. You know, that the lines, oh, what a love between my Lord and I, my Lord and I, my Lord and I, my Sai and I, my Sai and I. Today here, I would like to share my experiences of how Swami introduced himself to me and brought me into his abode. So I got married to Srini, my husband, and moved to the United States in 2008. Little did I know at that time, Swami is my everything. Swami brought me into his abode through my children, Maitreyi and Lakshmika. So in February of 2009, when I knew I was carrying Maitreyi, I also knew two other things, that this child would be a girl and I would have to go through a C-section, a surgery to give birth to this child. So we were living at LA at that time, and around 20 weeks through the pregnancy, they do some extensive testing to make sure, there are no birth defects and all that stuff. So that day came, and here I am lying down on the radiologist's table to get all that tests done. 45 minutes to an hour, I go through this extensive testing, and she says, yay, it's a baby girl. But she had a worrisome face. And I'm like, okay, what is she not telling? So then I asked her, everything else is good? She said, I will let the doctor talk to you. Both Srini and myself knew, okay, something is there. Something is waiting for us there. I'm already tensed, panicky, worried. The doctor walks in and he says, it's a girl child. I'm so excited for you guys. And your, due date would be October 24th of 2009. And Everything is good, but here comes the news. The baby has a hole in her heart. Of course, I started crying. I was not even sure what is actually happening. I'm just crying. And then he said, we have to observe, we have to monitor both you and the baby throughout the pregnancy to make sure, whether this hole develops, whether it closes, what happens. And depending on that, we might need a surgery as soon as the baby is born, a year after, or at the age of 2, at the age of 5 or 10. It all depends. And then he said a bunch of other things. I didn't hear anything else. I was just crying, worried. That's it. We walked out of the doctor's office. He also added, but in some cases, if you have a normal delivery, these holes are meant to close. And okay, that's it. We walked out of the doctor's office. We both got inside a car, and here I am crying inconsolable. And Srini thought, okay, the best thing to do is to go to a friend's place than to just go back home. And we went to a friend's place. And her parents were visiting at that time. We entered the home. As soon as they saw my face, they figured something is wrong. They asked me, what happened, Purni? I spilled everything out, cried my heart out, and 45 minutes. Then that uncle went inside, brought a book, and he gave it to me saying that, Purni, read this book starting on a Thursday and finish it on a Wednesday. You ask for anything, it will be granted. And he said, but I should also let you know one more thing. You cannot do this of your own accord, okay? You have to ask Baba for his grace and will. I don't even know who Baba is. I nodded my head. We came back home. I cried for 3 days in a row, or even 4 days in a row. After 4 days, I'm done with crying. Tears are over, no more. I was like, during that time of that crying, I'm thinking, I have to do something. As a mom, what did I miss? Did I not eat right? Did I not take care right? What is going on with the baby? I have to do something so that the baby will be born perfectly healthy. And that is all that is running in my mind. Around 24 weeks, like I would say beginning of the 7th month. Right after that, every 2 weeks, we would go in for all these tests, and they would put me halted onto monitors, and they just keep giving the same news. Oh, the hole is growing. We have to just keep looking into it. After every visit, I would just be burdened and worried, come back home. And around the beginning of the 7th month, I would say 25th week, thought just came into my mind. Uncle gave me a book that day, didn't he? He said to read it. Why not try, right? I opened the book. The book is in Tamil script. I'm a Tamilian, but born, brought up in Kerala. I am much fluent in Malayalam and in English. I can read and write Tamil, but not 50 chapters or 51 chapters in 7 days. And I'm like, God, what is this? You give me, you're saying, okay, here it is. I give you a help. And I have to learn a new language. I have to learn to read it. Then I was like, okay, let me try to find English version of the book online. I went searching for the book. The book said Sai Satcharitra. I got it. I downloaded the book, waited for the next Thursday to happen. I sat down to read. First page, second paragraph, I'm sleeping. I'm not a reader, okay? I don't read so much. And I'm like, okay, it's a first day, right? What's the big deal? Tomorrow I can catch up. Second day, same story. Third day, same story. Fourth day, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm giving up. I can't do this. And I stopped reading. After 2 weeks, again, what that uncle told me came into my mind. You should ask Baba for his will and grace. By the time I had downloaded a picture of Shirdi Sai Baba from the internet or whatever, and then I'm here sitting in front of him, and I'm like, this is exactly the words I told him. Okay, I don't know who you are. Okay, this uncle told me if I pray to you, if I read this book within this period of time, any desire, anything I ask for, okay, that will be granted. All that I asked for is for this baby to be born without any defects. And along with that, help me read this book. I patiently waited for the next Thursday to happen. Thursday came, 1.5 hours. I'm through 7 chapters. I'm like, what's going on? Second day, same thing. Third day, same thing. Wednesday, completed reading. A sense of peace and calm filled within me. Only thing I knew at that moment was everything will be all right. What is everything? What is all right? I don't know. Everything will be all right. We had not shared this news of the birth defect with our parents. Why worry them, right? We let it. And my parents arrived. October 24th was my due date. My parents arrived October 10th of 2009. And we shared at that time with them. Of course, my dad and mom were worried, but they didn't show because they were more worried if they would worry me. So they didn't express their worry. Now, October 13th was a checkup for me. See, we went in and again, they halted me onto monitors and all that. And the nurse was like, oh, my dear, you're going through lots of contractions and we have to deliver the baby right now. And the baby is in distress. And I'm like, I don't even feel a thing. What are you talking about? No. There is no question. We have to deliver the baby now. I'm like, okay. The doctor walked in. My gynecologist walked in. She came in and she said, Poornima, I think it is better to deliver the baby sooner. And I also think this baby cannot be delivered in a normal way or normal delivery. We will have to get you to do a C-section, or we will have to perform a C-section. I said, I'm fine by that. Whatever you seem fit and safe for me and the baby, do that. But I just have a request. Can I go back home, pack my things and bring? And tomorrow we'll schedule it. She said, okay, she got convinced. I don't know how, she just got convinced. And she said, okay, in case you feel even the slightest of the pain, okay, you are to come to the hospital. I said, yes, I promise you, of course, right? I could see Srini's face. He was worried because what he told me was, the doctor said, if you were to give birth to her in a normal delivery, the hole would be closed. There is a big chance. And I told him, don't worry, it'll be fine. Then the next day we came to the hospital. I was taken to the OR. I see 5 doctors there. Gynecologist, anesthesiologist, pediatric cardiologist, pediatric cardiothoracic surgeon, and a pediatrician, my daughter's pediatrician. I called pediatrician close and I asked her, why so many of you all here? What's going on? She said, oh dear, it's nothing to worry. Okay, but we just want to be prepared. What if as soon as the baby is born, we have to take her into surgery immediately? I told her, you know what? When the baby is born, you would not hear a murmur. That's how they would figure out if there's a hole or not. They did an ultrasound right before they did C-section on me, and they could hear the murmur or the so-called murmur. Okay. And they delivered her 12:04, October 14, 2009. They did all the tests they had to do. It's in the same OR on one side, and I'm on this table, and they're still stitching me up. And they checked, except for mild jaundice, which is very common in newborns. The pediatrician came over to me. She said, how did you know? I said, my God told me so. She asked, I want to meet your God. Okay. I said, yeah, you take me back to my room. I'll show you my God. I had Shri Sai Satcharitam and a picture of Baba under my pillow in that room. And that was the way Swami introduced himself the first time. And after our first daughter's birth, Maitri's birth, I had 2-3 years of health issues going back and forth. None of the doctors could figure out what was going on. Only thing they could tell me was both my primary care physician and the gynecologist, it is best not to be pregnant now because your health is not at prime. So do not try to have another baby. It was the least on a plate. Okay. And we were like, okay, my health was our thought process there. In 2013, we went to India, and during our India visit, we went to Sundaram, Chennai. That was my first visit. And I've seen Swami's pictures before that, but I always loved bhajans, and I loved singing bhajans. And we attended the bhajan session. It was so beautiful. We came back home, then we came back to LA. We reached after our India visit. In February 2014, we found a small center close to our home. It is just 14 or 15 families who come together in a common place. On a Saturday, spend 2 to 3 hours. We would have what we call Balvikas, study circle, and bhajan. At first, the first day we went in only for the bhajans. I loved the fact of being able to sing bhajans. That's it. But I didn't connect with Swami in the picture, or I didn't connect with Swami. I couldn't. I'm just singing bhajans. I'm enjoying the music, and that's it. And at the end of that first visit, the organizer, she comes to Srini and asks him, hey, next week, can you sing a bhajan? Srini said, my wife would be thrilled. Why don't you ask her to sing? And she put down both our names to sing. From there on, every week, we would get an opportunity to offer a bhajan. And I would search for bhajans on YouTube. For that week, I wouldn't know if I'm singing or not, but I would prepare. I would go, I would offer the bhajan. I just enjoyed singing bhajans, that's it. On April 25th, 2014, my first dream of Bhagwan, Swami came into my dreams. It was a long dream, but in the interest of time, what I'm seeing is I'm looking at a kitchen counter. There is a big banana leaf. You know how we cook different kind of dishes for big festivals. They're all on that banana leaf. And I'm like, what is this all about? I'm not crazy about food either, right? And then I look down in the dream. Then I look onto the kitchen counter again. There I see the same picture of Swami, but in a miniature form, like a baby Swami. The same hair, the same looks, everything is the same, but a baby on that banana leaf. Again, that appeared 3 times, the same vision. The banana leaf with different dishes on it. I look down, I look up, Swami. It was somewhere early in the morning. I woke up Srini and I told him, hey, this is what, I can't even understand what's going on. Why did I even see him in the dream? Srini said, dreams about Swami are real. Now go to sleep. And that's it, that dream, that was it. And we continued going to the center, 2014. By end of 2014, no medicines, no diagnosis, nothing. My health was getting better. And meanwhile, our daughter, our older one who was 4.5 or 4.5 at the time when we started going to that center over in LA, she had started praying every day. She would go in front of the altar. She would pray, Baba, I want a baby sister, a baby brother, or a puppy. Okay. And in that order. That's it. That's her prayer. She would just talk to Swami. 2015 March, I get to know I'm carrying another child. That time, again, I knew 2 things. That I would deliver that baby through C-section, and she will be born on 23rd November 2015. And after after Srini and myself, we shared the news of being pregnant or whatever, the first person I shared it with was a 5-year-old daughter, Maitri. She said, Mommy, I'm so excited. It's going to be a baby sister, okay? Here I am. Oh my God, what if it's a boy? This girl is going to be disappointed, isn't she? And I said, Papa, I'm not sure whether it's going to be a boy or a girl. So just be ready. She said, no, don't worry about it, okay? I had my conversation with Baba and he said it will be a baby sister. I said, okay. Around the same time, 20 weeks or so, I go for another ultrasound to figure out, because my first pregnancy was the so-called complicated. They did extensive testing this time as well to make sure the baby is fine. And at that time was when they revealed the gender of the baby as well. And they said, it's a baby girl. My daughter Maitri, she was also in the examination room. She came, I told you. I still remember the excitement. When you see the faith of children, it moves you. Their purity, their innocence. And somewhere at the end of October, my gynecologist told me, I don't think we can do a normal delivery this time. The baby is big, you're a small person, and we should do a C-section. But it will be a scheduled C-section, and we can do it only after the 39th week. And my 39th week of pregnancy was ending on November 27th or 28th, something around that time. And my due date was December 4th. So he said, we can schedule it for December 1st or whenever that Monday, Tuesday, weekday was on that week. I said, okay, whatever you seem fit and safe for me and the baby. November 20th, Friday of 2015, I go in for my checkup. And they do ultrasound at that time and they say, you know what, the baby is pretty big and she doesn't have enough room to move inside you, and we think we should move up your C-section. I said, okay. We cannot do the surgery on a Saturday or Sunday because it is scheduled, and it is difficult for the anesthesiologist, the gynecologist, because unless and until it is an emergency, they don't work on those days. And they said, okay, we schedule it for November 23rd, 2015, Monday. I gave a smile and I said, sure. November 23rd, 2015, our second daughter, Lakshmika, was born at 6:59 p.m. What more do I ask to this kind, compassionate, ever-loving Lord? And after her birth too, I had health issues. We had help from our family, but I just knew He is always, always, always thinking about all of us. Today, my prayer to Him is, Swami, please, 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 keep me in your thoughts. Keep you in my thoughts. I'd like to quote, I don't know Telugu much, but I'd like to quote 4 lines which I love the most in a song. Gadiche pratikshanam neetone gadapalani, memo vine padalanni, nee maatale kavalani. Maloni talapulanni, నీకు వివరించాలని, క్రియలన్నీ కర్తకే అంకితం చేయాలని వేచి ఉన్నాము ఈ రోజుకి. I just pray that every moment, Swami, I will be spending in your thoughts. I will be talking to you every moment. My prayers are not very, very formal ones. My prayers are my conversations with Him, just conversations. I'd like to close my experience sharing with my latest dream of Swami. In June this year, I was working on a darshan video of Bhagwan, trying to bring a 15-minute audio video of Bhagwan's darshan with some audio in it. I'm going through a 2-hour darshan video of Bhagwan and trying to gather. And I'm going over it the whole day. I was going through that to make sure, to edit it and put it together and all that. And here I am during watching that, I'm telling, Swami, it's not fair, okay? Not even once you have not given me a darshan of yours. Okay, when you were in your physical form, I had not been able to. But now I earnestly ask you, I want to touch thy feet. I want to kiss thy feet. This I'm just talking to Him during the day. I finish up the AV, go to bed. I had a beautiful dream that night. What I saw was, I'm sitting, I've never been to Parthi, by the way. I've never visited Shirdi. I don't know what to be in a darshan line. I don't know what are the formats or how things work in Prashanti Nilayam. And here I am sitting in the darshan hall. Only me. I don't have members, my family members or people I know around me, but thousands of other devotees. And I see the orange globe Swami gliding across, coming closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, okay, if he comes closer to me, I'm thinking this in the dream, if he comes closer to me, I'm going to ask him permission for Pada Namaskar. But I'm also thinking, is that how it works? Should I ask permission? Should I take? You know how the mind is, the thoughts are running going in circles. And he comes, he stands right in front of me in the dream. But he's not looking at me. He's looking somewhere else. He's looking at someone else. And everybody around me is looking at him, at his face. And I am like, should I ask permission? Should I call him? Swami, can I take Pada Namaskar? Or should I ask the person sitting next to me, what is the procedure? And I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm just going to take Pada Namaskar. And I touch thy feet, I take Pada Namaskar. And then tears roll down my cheeks and I kiss thy feet. And my tears fell onto his feet. And then I get up, I look up to him, he's looking at me. He asked me this question, why this job of crying? Why this job of crying? Swami is there with you always. That's the dream. By the way, he spoke to me in Telugu. I don't know to say it right, so I'm not, I just knew that is what it means, that's all. And it is not only just the dream. That whole week after the dream, he reassured in one way or other, I come into your dreams on my own accord, of my own accord. My will, it's my will. It's not because right after when I woke up that morning, my mind started thinking, oh, it could be because yesterday I was watching the AV and I was preparing, it's natural. He sends me a message. There is a YouTube message, there's a WhatsApp message. There are messages from few of Swami's beautiful instruments in my life right now. Sending me, they are real. Swami comes when he wills to come. With that, Sairam, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Poornima. It's beautiful, actually. Again, here you are, someone who's never seen the physical form or never known Swami. In fact, never known either the Shirdi avatar or the Satya Sai avatar until you've come out here, and just the journey that you've had, and I can see the amount of, the emotion that with which you speak is truly heartfelt, and it transmits itself to the listener, and the journey that you have had with Sai, I think is a beautiful journey, and a journey of, now I can see, of deeply ingrained faith, and it's just a joy to listen to such journeys, because it gives the average listener, whom he or she may feel, I haven't had the chance of any sort of physical proximity, nor do I really truly know him from being born into a Sai family, or any sort of proper environment of that sort. Will I be able to access, or will Swami be accessible to me? Or is Sai a distant phenomenon? And, it goes to show that Sai is truly a universal phenomenon, because the divine God is for all. All that you need to do is to have, this intense yearning to seek him out. And as in your case, he sought you. In fact, he's instilled that yearning within you and then sought you out. It's just beautiful to see, that journey, and it gives a lot of people who are listening, so much faith as well. Just listening to your journey was just a joy. In the interest of time, I want to open it up to, the floor, and then see if others have any thoughts to share or any questions. Feel free to go ahead, guys.
Hey, Sairam, this is Ravi again. I think I'd known Poornima for at least a couple of years, but I didn't know that she could really speak and articulate very well. And the interesting point is she's a Kerala-oriented Tamil girl who could also speak Telugu. And I think the word, from my understanding, the word Poornima means what? Full moon? Is that right? Yeah, but I think now I knew it was not a full moon until she married Srini, I think. No, not because she married Srini, but because Srini introduced to Swami. And that made her the full moon, I would say. And I was not sure, is it Mia or Mika? Mia had a hole, right? Me, and then
Yes.
I feel I've never heard this, but I felt it was a wonderful journey for you from the whole to becoming a whole person with a W. And I think the W is the wisdom to, I would say, to accept Swami. And I felt you continued the worship by reading Sacharita and had the willpower to continue it. And it all boils down to what I feel is the faith you had in Swami by forwarding, FAITH, forwarding all issues to him. And the main thing is, I never knew that there are so many doctors. You mentioned about 4 or 5 doctors. And I think that was a worldly education I had. And of course, it was so wonderful. It's so true that children are God. And when what Mia said came true, and that was something that I would definitely cherish. And of course, you were talking about other dreams that you had, and I may not know what exactly to be said of dream. Abdul Kalam said that dream is not, he said, what you see in sleep. A dream is something which does not let you sleep. And I feel that you still are not slept because you are wanting to get to know Swami more and more. On a personal note, for all of you, I had been working with Poornima in several projects. I feel she's a very, very dedicated person with a great sense of responsibility. And that's one thing that I admire in her. And I think she said she continues to pray, and I feel prayer is not like a steering wheel. Is like a steering wheel, sorry, but not like a spare wheel. That means you don't pray when it is needed. And that is the essence of what I learned from you, Poornima. And I love the willpower, determination, in spite of the fact, as what Sri Ram said, you never seen Swami, you never been to Parthi. And I think your inspiration and your talk would help a lot of the people who have not visited Parthi, because you showed them that it could be done if you have the intense desire to connect to Swami. Thank you. Sairam.
Thank you, Ravi.
Anybody else?
Sairam, Poornima, thank you so much for sharing it. It was thoroughly beautiful. The way you expressed it, your entire journey, like right from both the children who were born as like Swami made it happen. Swami was there with you always. It's quite amazing to like listen to such amazingly beautiful stories. So what made you realize that your second child will be born on November 23rd? Like how did you even think about it, that it will be born, the child will be born on Swami's birthday?
I just knew, that's all I can say. And when I say I just knew, it's, you know, how they say prayers are your conversations with God, and intuition is when God converses with you. So that is, I just take it as it was his message, and it's so strong and clear that, you know, that is what it is. That's it. And I didn't have any other, I don't know to, what do you say, anything, an analysis or anything behind it. And I had not shared that with Srini that time when I knew that she will be born on November 23rd. It was just something that was in my mind. And when it happened, when it was happening that day, that when on November 20th, when I was told, okay, we are going to have a surgery schedule for you on November 23rd, that's when I shared with him. He was like, you knew it all the time and you didn't mention it to me.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
And I think the bottom line, it's a very Swami said, stop analyzing, start experiencing. And that's exactly what it is. We cannot fathom Swami's leelas. We can only experience it. And that's exactly what I feel you must have gone through.
Jayaram, Poornima, this is Murali. I am writing your notes here actually. You know, your prayers are your words to Swami, and intuition is Swami's words to you. Excellent quote. I don't know whether you created on your own or you read somewhere, but it's a beautiful thing. And I was listening to you. What I felt is when we have a problem, we start praying to God. But it's very difficult for us to believe God till something in the positive way happens to us. And that belief will continue to stay with us till we face another problem. When we have another problem, we come to square one, saying that, okay, Swami, where are you? Why are you not looking at me? It's very common for us, but you at least had that faith even before that, first daughter born, saying that, okay, she is going to be born perfectly all right. Now, that is the commitment, confidence which you have, whether it's your prayers or whether it's your intuition, whatever it is, actually the conversation is happening. I'm really gladdened to hear that, and very happy to listen that also. Thank you, Sarah.
I think one of the things, Poornima, I feel, as Murli alluded to, confidence, Swami uses the word, we use the word self-confidence, Atma Vishwasam. The confidence in the Atma that is inside you might be the reason.
One thing I knew for sure, I know today for sure, is Swami had been with me from the time the soul of mine, or when I say me, the soul was formed. It's just different identities every lifetime. It just took me up to this lifetime. I don't know how many I passed and how many I'm going to go through, but it just took me this lifetime to be in this close proximity of Bhagwan, to be in his thoughts, to be filled with his thoughts day in, day out, and to live a life like this. Sairam.
Anybody else? Any final thoughts? Because I think the global Guru Poornima program's about to begin right now, I think at 8. So any final comments before we bring this wonderful session to a close?
Saram, Sriram.
Saram Sham.
Okay, to just share a quick thought. I just wanted to thank Sister Poornima for this wonderful session, and even Brother Satyam. This was so beautiful, and deeply touched by your sharing. And you have inspired us, and we are grateful for the same. Thank you very much for putting this all together and for sharing your personal journeys with us. And you feel it like we feel inspired to walk on this path. Thank you very much, Saira.
Thank you, Shankar.
Thank you, Uncle.
I think Sister Poornima, if you could end it for us, I think, since we're a couple of minutes past 8.
Sure. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Saya, thank you all.
Sai Ram.